Have you ever wondered what it would be like if we didn't keep the record of history? Imagine that you wake up one day and realize that you have no memory of the past. You don't know when you were born or where you came from. You don't know anything about your family. You don't remember a single thing that you used to like. How would you feel if you had no recollection of the past? History is not just about the epic events that had happened in the past. Your birthday, your first day of school, first time you rode a bike is also a part of history, your history. Everything with a past has a history. Life on Earth, people, art, countries, and even ice cream. So what's the difference between a historical event and a tale? History is the study of past events supported by evidence. It means that for a story to be considered as a historical event, we need to know when and where it occurred, as well as a record proving that it has occurred. It feels like we don't spend a single minute that is not recorded today. However, things weren't always like that in the past. Photos, artifacts, engravings, and letters from the past are all records of history. Do you think this boy took this photo to celebrate the day he received his first bike in 1921? How old do you think he was in this photo? Is it possible that he was as old as you today? What does a historian do? A good historian tracks down clues about the past events like a detective. Then he tries to reveal what exactly has happened in the past by understanding the cause and effect relationship between the information and the records he collected. History gives us information about who we are and where we come from. History also inspires us as to what kind of a person we want to be. Human history might be full of injustices and wars, but it's also full of great examples about courage and virtue. History gives us a perspective on what is important in life. For example, when the world was in ruins after World War II, the countries established the United Nations with the aim of resolving conflicts peacefully instead of going to war. Being able to understand historical events might also prevent us from making similar mistakes. Knowing about the past helps us analyze the events happening today. It also allows us to make assumptions about future. For example, many of the precautions taken during COVID-19 epidemic were based on the past lessons learned from other epidemics, including the Great Spanish Flu in 1918. Events in history cannot be studied by establishing the same conditions like designing an experiment in a lab. So we need the support of other scientific disciplines in order to fully understand what has happened in the past. There are many scientific disciplines that help us understand history. However, 3 of these are the most important as they help us differentiate historical events from tales right away. We need a scientific discipline to help us understand when the event has occurred. Chronology is the science of arranging events in their order of occurrence in time. We need a scientific discipline to help us understand where the event has occurred. Geography is the study of places and relationship between people and their environments. We also need a scientific discipline to help us collect and examine evidence. Archaeology is the study of material remains, stuff people have left behind in history. With the help of these disciplines, we can understand the conditions under which the historical events took place and learn what has happened in the past, even if we weren't there to see it. History is the study of past events supported by evidence. History gives us information about who we are, where we come from, and what kind of a person we would like to be in future. History gives us a perspective on what is important in life.
Why do we need to study history? Why studying history is so important? What do we gain by studying history? Answers to these questions are very interesting, and I'm sure after the end of this video, some spark and curiosity to study history will start within you. So follow me to the end of this video to know them, and without wasting any time, let's begin. The most common question, and of course the most troubling one for the younger generation, is why do we study history? Why studying history is so important in my life? Answers are many. As we all live in the present and we plan for the future, but it's hard to understand where we are going and what progress looks like. So to know exactly where we are going, you first need to understand where you have come from. For that, you need an appreciation of history. So let me start with explaining you some of the benefits of studying history. Entire societies and the individuals within them benefit from gaining a deeper understanding of history. Here are a few benefits of studying history in whatever perspective you want. History develops an understanding of the world. Through history, we can learn how past societies, systems, ideologies, governments, cultures, and technologies were built, how they operated, and how they have changed. The rich history of the world helps us to point a detailed picture of where we stand today. Developing your knowledge of history means developing your knowledge of all these different aspects of life. We all can learn about the pillars upon which different civilizations were built, including cultures and people different from their own. All this knowledge makes the learner an all-rounder people who are better prepared to learn in all their academic subjects. History also helps us in understanding our identity. Nations are made up of a collection of stories and legends. These stories shape the way we think about our country and our standing within it. History is where we learn about how great institutions are formed and how they have contributed to where we are today.